All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I'm creating a series of videos based off of the Mozilla Developer Network's Learn Web Development series. And I've gone through a lot of the stuff that's in here, and I'm all the way down to Git and GitHub. We're going to go through everything that's in here, but before we even do the overview, I wanted to mention three different resources for this. Now, I used to always have people, I used to push them over to Brad Traversy GitHub. I'll just say Git. And he's got a video here. It's 32 minutes and 42 seconds. Git and GitHub Crash Course for Beginners. It's a little dated now. It's 4 years old. And it's not that there's anything wrong with it. It's a very good video. But now what I typically recommend that people go to is Colt Steele GitHub and Colt Steele Git. So I want the GitHub one, and I also want the one not for GitHub, but for Git. All right. Let's see GitHub video. That's it. Learn Git in 15 minutes.
Hey everyone, today we're talking about...
And how about GitHub video? Learn GitHub in 20 minutes.
Now, you're learning the code,
I would recommend that you watch the Learn GitHub in 20 minutes first, because GitHub is more general than Git is. So again, this is Colt Steele. Do you have to watch these? You don't have to do anything. People always say, do I have to? Well, again, if you think it's worth your while. So there's that one, and I'll bring up the other one right away too. I think that all of these, including the Traversy one, even though it is a little bit older, but all three of those videos, they're all well done. Okay? And I've actually taken some online classes with Colt Steele. He's good. He knows what the heck he's talking about. All right? Another thing, you might want to go check out his YouTube channel. I don't know. All right. So with that said, all developers will use some kind of a version control system sooner, if not later. And in this program, it's sooner. You use Git and GitHub throughout the 4 courses that you take in the Rankin Technical College AWD program. GitHub is an example of a version control system. Git is something that you can use in accordance with GitHub. Git does not have to be used with GitHub. It can be used with other things like Bitbucket, and there's a few other ones, but we will use Git and GitHub together. The most popular version control system among web developers is Git, along with GitHub. So Git, I guess they consider to be the VCS, fine. And GitHub is more or less, it's the cloud. It's a site out in the cloud that provides hosting for your Git repositories. You're going to learn what all that stuff is starting in here. As it says, version control systems are essential for software development. It's rare that you'll work on a project by yourself when you get out into the real world. So if you're working with other people, it's nice that if you want your own copy of what you're working on to make some changes, maybe not permanent changes, maybe later permanent changes, but you can get your own copy. You can do this. All right, and you can also back up your code at any time, which is a nice thing. You're going to see all of these in action. You may want this, you may have saved a project, and the next day you work on it, and you're like, geez, I really screwed this up. I wish I had the old version again. Well, then you can roll back to an earlier version if you want to do that. All right, and again, finally, different team members can each have their own versions. And you use what are called pull requests, and you use push requests. We'll get into all that eventually. Again, they define Git as being an example of a version control system and GitHub as the website infrastructure that provides a place to hold your Git projects. Git is actually a distributed version control system, meaning that a complete copy of the repo containing the code base on your computer and everyone else's. You make changes to your own copy, then push those changes back to the server where an administrator will decide whether or not to merge those changes. And it's much easier than they're making it sound. All right, to use Git and GitHub, you need the following. A desktop computer with Git installed. We'll look at that in just a minute. In fact, let's look at that. How about this? Download Git. All right. There it is. It's under Git/SCM, which stands for Source Control Manager. And I'm going to go to the download. And it says the most current is 2.32.0. Now I'm going to go to the control panel to see what one I'm currently running. And I'm running 2.30.0.2. Okay, so let's remove the one that we've got here. So I'll uninstall it. You might get that saying, are you an administrator? And then are you sure you want to? Yes. And it's like that. It's gone. It says some elements could not be removed. Okay, that's not a problem. But you'll notice it's gone from here. All right. So a computer with Git installed. So I went over here, and again, if you cannot read that, let's try to create a little URL list here. So we'll put here Git download. There it is. Whoop, that is not it. But it will be there in about 30 seconds. So there it is. All right. Okay, so that's the first thing. A tool to use Git. Depending on how you would like to work, you could use the Git Client. We recommend the GitHub desktop. I'm going to say that we're going to use Git Bash in here, and you'll need a GitHub account. So first, let's do this. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to tell it to download this for Windows. Your download is starting, so there it is. If you're using Chrome, it'll put it down here. Then you right mouse click and you say open. It may beep again like this saying, are you an administrator? Do you want to do this? Just say yes. You may or may not get that. Feel free to read through this, or you can even grab all of it, print it out, and read it later, but I'm going to click next. I'm going to let it go in the default location, which is under my program files. Notice it needs 267.5 meg, which I have. Go to next. And it says that already exists. Would you like to install it anyway? Well, evidently when I worked before and was working on this, it didn't remove everything. I'm going to say no for now, but I'm going to come out here because you probably won't have this stuff. So I'm going to go out here to program files. And I'm going to go to Git. And let's see. And it's got all of this stuff. I don't even know what's in here. There's a configuration file, something else. But these are all were done at about the beginning of the year. So I'm going to see if I can remove those. It says you'll need permission. Continue. Cannot be completed because the file or folder is open. My user file. That must be why before it wouldn't work. So I've got something over here that's open on this. And unfortunately, when you look here, I've got a lot of stuff open. So let's stop this. Let's go over to here. And I'm going to close a few things. So close, close. It's probably because I have this stuff open. So let me control break to close that. So exit. And also from here, let me again control break and exit. Now let me see if I can remove this stuff. So with this highlighted, delete. It says you'll need admin permission. continue, and it's gone. So I no longer have that Git folder in there. All right. So now that's probably what you'll have. So when you say next, geez Louise, let me try to do I'm gonna try to do the setup all over again. Okay. All right. So go over to here. I'm going to go over to my downloads where that's located. Double click on this to start it. Yes. Next. Next. Well, it still says that the folder exists. I thought that I removed the folder. Evidently, I removed everything under the folder, but not the folder itself. So I'll stop this one more time. Sorry about that. And let's back up one. And now let's remove the Git folder. That's probably, again, what you have. All right, now it's gone. There is no Git folder under my program files. Thank goodness. All right, so let's go through and try to run this one last time. Install it again. Double click on it. Yes. Next. Put it in the default. Next. Just keep all the options the way they are. At a minimum, you want the Windows Explorer integration. You do want the Git Bash here and the Git CLI, but I just leave all of them. Next. And it says it will set up the shortcuts. That's fine. This is a misnomer that's on here because it says, what do you want for your editor? Technically, we want VS Code, all right, which is in here, Visual Studio Code. But it doesn't matter what you pick, all right? I don't know why they've still got this in here, but don't worry about it. If you want to change it, change it. Otherwise, leave it the way it is. It really and truly won't matter. Next, you're going to let Git decide. That's fine. So next. Get from the command line, sure. Next. Yeah, next. There's some legacy stuff in here. Next. More legacy. Next. The default, sure. Next. A credential helper. Next. Enable file, sure. Next. You shouldn't have to do any of this stuff, so install. That's it. And yeah, it took a while to click through that, but as I'm talking to you here, it's what, 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 25 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and it's installed. All right, you don't need to see the release notes, and I'm not going to launch it. I'm just going to click finish. I don't need this anymore, so I will delete that. But now if I go back into my downloads, not my downloads, I'm sorry. If I go back into my C:\program files, you'll notice that again I have a Git with today's date and time on it, and that's what's in it. All right, okay, so I've got it. A couple things about this website, just so you've seen them. You go. This is the way the website looks. Always click here. It should recognize the type of machine you have, and you should have a Windows machine in this class anyway, so that should handle it. There is an online book, Pro Git. So if you click on it, you can actually read the book right here. If you want to find out more, it's a little dated, but it's still very relevant. You can download it as an ebook, etc. In fact, maybe I'll just download the ebook in PDF format and send it all to you, or send it to all of you. Okay. All right. The other thing we need is a GitHub account. Now, I already have one, but I'm going to see if I can register for another one. To do this, I'm going to have to go out to github.com, and it's automatically going to put me, it's got me in here, in my account, which is JP Scott Rankin. But I'm going to see if I can log out, sign out, and get a new account. So this is what yours would look like. All right, so I'm going to click sign up here. Create your account. Notice it's already got my username. Well, I don't want that. So I'm going to have my username be jpscott@charter.net, which is my other one. It says username can only begin with alphabetic and cannot end with a hyphen. All right, let's try JP Scott Charter. All right, that's available. All right, then it asks for an email address, which will be jpscott@charter.net. All right, Now it says email is invalid or already taken. Well, that isn't good news. Whew. All right, let's see if I can do this another way. How's that? If I go into YouTube, I always forget what this one is, but I've got an account. Let's see. Oh, I know which one I'll use. Forget about that. So let me go back. And I'll say this. I'm just going to say JP Scott. It says it's not available. All right, JP Scott 4444. Is that available? Yes, it is. So the email address I'm going to use is JP Scott. Oh my goodness. All right, sorry about this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, I think it's rankin-it.com. I think that that's correct. Password. All right, that is it. So I want to create a new account with that particular, using that. So let's see. All right, sorry this took so long. So there will be that one. And I want to give it a password. Let's see. All right. Okay. Send me occasional. I don't care. That's fine. Please solve this puzzle so we know you are a real person. Pick the spiral galaxy. Pick the spiral galaxy. Well, are any of these spiral? Guess that one is. All right. Create account. So I now have JP Scott 4444. All right, how many team members? Just me. Continue. Select all that apply. I'm not going to select any of them. Just say continue. All right. Team recommended for you. I do want free. Continue for free. All right. Please verify your email address. So I'm going to have to go in. But the point is, what's going to happen is once I get in, all right, and let me sign out here, and let me try to sign back in again. And I don't want to sign in as that. I want to sign in as JP Scott at Rankin. It's going to end up looking pretty much like this, except this stuff in here will be empty. All right. And again, we'll go over this in class. If I have to, I'll walk through it with each person personally. So that's the stuff you need. That'll be the GitHub account. So it says the links below take you to resources on external sites. There's a Hello World from GitHub, a GitHub handbook, forking, about pull, and mastering issues. I'd say that if you're going to read any, I would just concentrate on the first two. And really probably just the Hello World. All right. So that is the Git and GitHub overview. All right. And next, we're going to jump into Hello World. Be back with that in just a couple minutes.